the last article I read, it was on an interview with Bill Gates. So there he was being criticized because he said to the guy, or the guy asked him something like this. And he said, yes, my daughter needs to marry a rich man.
I cannot. I'm already pissed.
Okay, well, listen. Wait. So then the guy's like, well, that's kind of horrible. Why does your daughter need to marry a rich man? He said, you don't understand. You need to understand the definition of rich. Well, for me, it's wealth. It's not rich, right? So I call it wealthy. So I'm going to change his word from rich to wealthy.
Okay.
So he's saying his daughter needs to marry a wealthy man. So then the guy's like, well, that's kind of conceited, right? And then he's like, well, explain yourself. So he started explaining himself. He says, you need to understand what the definition of wealth is. Wealth does not mean you necessarily mean you have a lot of money and that's it. He says, because there are lottery winners that have $300 million. And in 5 years, they have a lot of money today. In 5 years, they don't have a lot of money. Wealth is the potential. So his daughter doesn't necessarily have to marry a wealthy man, but she has to have, when it comes to money, but he has to have the potential.
Okay, but why are we not saying my son needs to marry a rich woman?
I don't think do you have a son?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'm going to Google it.
I'm just going to say.
You know why that lights a fire under my ass?
Tell me.
Because I was reading another book called The Millionaire Next Door. And before I even got into like chapter 3, it said Bill Gates does have a son. He's got 2 daughters and a son. Okay.
Well, the guy asked him a question about his daughter. They didn't ask him a question about his son. So he was just.
Anyway, The Millionaire Next Door.
Tell me.
In the book, the author says something about the sons are good to make their own money, but the daughters will need their dad's help.
Well, that's bullshit.
Something along those.
That's bullshit because guess what? Christina and I are both the breadwinners in our family.
Yeah.
And we have vaginas. Which means we are women.
We don't have smaller brains, despite what some of you men may think.
And we might be alienating you guys on our first episode, but
this is a feminist podcast, and we believe in equal rights here.
But we are the breadwinners. We do not feel like we need to limit ourselves, right? And we don't think I do the same thing. I talk to my mother all the time. I have 2 sons at home, and I'm teaching them, yes, chivalry is not dead, but it's a 2-side coin.
Yeah.
You don't. Traditional roles of males and females are not exactly what they are.
No.
I have to agree that males and females biologically are different. So I'm not going to, my 6'2" son has to help me sometimes to say things that are, I can't.
You can reach the top shelf better than me.
Yes, you can reach the top shelves. They're stronger than I am. So I'm not going to go lift something that I know that they could help me with. I do believe they still need to open the door for their grandma and help her out and that type of thing. But we don't have smaller brains.
That just makes me think of the Anchorman. You're just a woman with a small brain.
Exactly. I know. It's like, no, we don't. We might have smaller bodies, but the brains,
depending.
The brains, are on our neck might not be the right thing when it comes to concussions and soccer, where my son plays. But we do not have smaller brains. I actually think our brains are more organized.
Yes.
Capable.
Like mentally, we're capable.
Yeah.
Like mentally, we are stronger mentally. Like, yeah. I don't want to digress. But statistically, when you look at a lot of things men do versus what women do, statistically, women are much more mentally and emotionally stable than men. That'll be a different podcast.
And that will be a different. We have so many podcasts right now that we just in the last few minutes. My old boss, she had 2 sons, and this was 20-something years ago. And one of her sons was in math class. And her son was complaining because he was an overachiever that there was this one girl that's always getting better grades than him in mathematics. So she turns to him and she says, right then and there with it, she's like, well, Taylor, girls are smarter. You're my son and I love you, but girls are smarter. And when it comes to math, you know, that's just a thing. So yes, girls, I'm a girl that has two sons, so I'm a boy mom. But there are certain things about girls that just biologically, mentally.
But I will say this girl is not better at math.
She's better in a lot of things.
At other things, but math is not my strong suit.
She's better in a lot of things.
That side of my brain doesn't work. The math science brain is a little, that side, whatever side that is. It's the other side, the creative side.
The creative side.
There's more juices flowing over there.